With pepián, it's a dish it's one of the most ancient dishes that Guatemalans have. It was eaten by the Mayans, usually used in ceremonies where there was big gatherings, weddings, religious ceremonies, things like that. And so it's one of the ones that historically they can actually date it back to the Mayans. It's one of the oldest recipes in the country. Where we're gonna go is one of my favorite spots in the market. I don't know if I think it's a combination of the people and the variety they usually have. Look at this garlic. Look at this garlic. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? It's medicinal. They don't really sell it for cooking. Okay. So you pop them like pills. And he has a variety of items that you don't really find in the rest of the market. So this is the whiskil. And then here they'll eat the flower, they'll eat the tips of the plants, the young tips, the ones that are light green coming out. Okay. And they'll eat it that. And then this is like the little version of that. It's like a little one. And then this one is called perulero. This is from the same family. But this one has more of a potato texture to it, so this is delicious. And we eat it, the way we like to eat it with the family is that we just cook it whole like this with the skin and everything, and then we take it out and we peel it, and just with a little bit of salt and just eat it like that. You have to try that, and you will, because we're going to use this in the pepián. With the carrots. Recipe we're going to use, this was called chile pasa, this was called chile guaque. We're going to use sesame seeds, and this over here, these are pumpkin seeds. And all of this is going to be roasted on a clay pot. We have the cinnamon, which will also be roasted. When we use the clay pots and when we cook over fire instead of a regular gas stove, the flavor is completely different. It's just, it really absorbs the smokiness of the fire, but at the same time, the natural earthy flavors of the clay pots. When I bought the pots, there's a way it's called curarlas, which is basically, you process the pot so when you use it over the fire doesn't hurt the clay. 59. It's pepián, and originally it's either made with chicken, pork, or both. So you can, I do a vegan version where I'll use eggplant or mushrooms instead of using meat. And it has whiskil, which is that big green veggie, and it has carrots, potatoes, and green beans. So in some places it's considered a soup, in other places it's considered a stew. It's very delicious. It's a dish that's been in the Mayan culture since the Spaniards got here. And because of the Spaniards, that's how the dish was influenced by other flavors, because it was there's a lot of pre-Hispanic Arab influence in the dish. One of the dishes, like if you go to weddings here, if you go to big birthdays, 15 años, Christmas parties, big gatherings, people tend to cook this dish. Sí, aquí, si quiere. Ala, porfa, porque para poder sacarla, así no estamos a media calle ahí sacando. And then we're gonna accompany it with rice and black tortillas.
Nice.
So it's gonna be awesome. Also, my name's Janina. My husband Gerson. Then we got Isabel,
Hi, Isabel.
Alfredo,
Alfredo.
Manuel,
Manuel.
Matthew,
Matthew.
Yeah. Elijah, Addie, and Sabrina, and Carmen's inside.
Carmen's inside, okay. I
which-
apologise already for forgetting everybody.
It's okay.
I'm Matthew as well, I can remember that guy. This is Django, Stacey, Rafael, and Gabriel is...
He's asleep. Okay. Cool.
Welcome.
Welcome. Come on in. Since we're gonna eat something that's used in ceremonies and gatherings, I thought it would be nice to also bring an incense to cleanse our vans and cleanse the energy around here. We're gonna use plantain peels to create a protective covering on the clay plate, and this is gonna help us so that it lasts a long time. And I do this every 6 months more or less with my clay pots and my clay plates, and as you see, it leaves like a layer of the plantain. We're gonna do it all over the plate. We're gonna put it on the fire, and it has to get to the point where it's actually, like, smoke is coming out of the plate because it's so hot. Look how it's getting black. See, that's beautiful right there. That's exactly what we want. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna put these on the clay pot, just like that. You see how they start, look at that. You see how it starts kind of changing color? And then that's what you want, but you have to be very careful for it not to overdo it, and you can begin smelling it. You can smell, this is chile pasa. So you see it begins bubbling up. So at this point, I need to start taking these out. All right, then we go with the other one, with the chile guaque, and then same thing. You have to be careful because if you overdo it, then what happens is that it gets too bitter, and you don't want that happening. So that's gonna be our thickener. The toasty tortilla is our thickener, and we blend it in with all the spices and everything that we're gonna cook, and then that's it. So that now we don't have to use like cornstarch or or flour or rice or something like that. So we use this, and then if you don't have tortillas, you can also use just like the bread from like a baguette or sandwich bread, and you just you roast it or you toast it until it's hard. It has to be, you have to take the humidity out of it, so it has to be very toasty, so that way when you blend it, it does the job of thickening the sauce, the stew. So you see this that I'm doing here, I do it on a dry pot. I put no oil, I put nothing in there. It's just a dry pot cooking the onions. And then once that's done, I'll take that out. Once it's a nice golden brown, I'll take that out and do the same thing with the garlic. And then once the garlic is done, then I'll do the sesame seed and the pumpkin seed. And that's also until it's a nice golden brown. Then we do the cilantro as well. So we put the cilantro on there and it kind of dries it out and it will have like a light brownish color. And then after that, then the last step is the tomatoes, because the tomatoes will leave like tomato residue, I guess, on the pot, and then we want that for the sauce, but we don't want the other ingredients to get wet from the tomato. Oh, the smoke is killing me.
Salud!